Hello, hello. I don't know if you guys can hear me. Hello, testing, testing, testing. I don't know if the audio is coming through here or not. Hey, so I haven't done a live session in a while. I figured I would start one up. I got up this morning. I didn't promote this at all. And I just said, you know what? I'd like to answer your questions with my dog in the background. Give you guys some updates on things, promote some maybe small things, but not really. The point of this really is to answer your questions, guys. So if you have any photography questions, just ask away. You're struggling with an assignment and you're a pro, you're an amateur, and you're trying to decide between what gear and why, you're stuck in a rut, whatever it may be, I'm here today to answer your questions. So just this only works if you ask away. Give me a moment here. You can type away in the chat there. I'll try to answer everyone's question. I'm going to promote this too because I haven't yet in a few places. So just bear with me here while I wait for your questions. I'm just going to share this link in a few places, you guys, and get this rolling here. 1 second here, guys. Bear with me. Live stream. You know, I should have these things all prompt, so I just copy and paste. Open Q&A. So update for me, guys. I think on the I didn't have a video this week. I apologize for that. I am going away on I've got a commercial shoot this week. If you have questions about that, I can kind of share. It's a video shoot with a little bit of photography mixed in. Next week, the week after, I'll be in Australia for a shoot. And then after that, hopefully I have some more time to make a few videos. I get inspired by you guys in your comment section and your questions and comments in the comment section. And when you guys write to me, I got a lot of great response recently from my video, sort of diving into Richard Avedon's work on portrait photography and talking about, you know, how he's mastered sort of expression and posture quite well. And I think I might do a few more like that. I mean, that was one of my more successful videos in a long time. It can be discouraging doing these episodes because if I did any episode about like anything related to Leica or anything related to like, I bought this Ricoh, and I like talking about gear a little bit, but those episodes just through the roof. I talk about the business side. I talk about improving your photography. No one wants the real hard answers, what it takes to improve your photography. So, you know, this was nice. This was actually encouraging to me that I did an episode about, you know, diving into a famous photographer, talking about what I've taken away from his work, how I've applied it to my work, and hopefully you guys learned some things along the way. Trying to give you guys any little update on things. Got a lot of bags recently. I don't want to talk gear, but I've been over bagging a little bit recently. So here I've opened up the comment section here, guys. Let's see. Also let you guys know I will be updating my Ask Mott website soon and my personal website. So if anyone's on them has questions about their own website, ask away, because I've been really diving in for SEO, for GEO, like trying to really get my website seen more. And it's working well. It's worked very well for Mott Visuals. I worked with a company that did this quite well. Guy's name is Russ, who's one of my students. I meet great people through this. Anyway, he did a great job for our commercial website, so I'm thinking of doing the same thing for Ask Mott. For anyone interested in online classes, one-on-one sessions, this is kind of the setup that I have. I look through your work. I look through your portfolio. We talk about projects for people that want to do more long-term stuff with me. I have a mentorship program. All that's available. Put a link in the chat section here, but it's all at askmott.com. I've also got my Central Vietnam workshop, 2 slots left. That's it. It's an all-inclusive workshop. Once you get here, that's it. It's all done top-notch, nice hotels, great food. But more importantly, we dive in and I help you with your photography. You get to see sort of Vietnam through my eyes, and I help you capture it through your eyes. So check all that out at askmott.com. I'm going to sip my coffee and ask people to ask questions because I trust my audience. Only a few of you here so far, but this was really impromptu. I literally just woke up this morning. I was about to do some work, and I realized, you know what? I'm in the mood to answer questions. So ask away. I didn't have any morning classes today. Oh, I appreciate that, Benji. It's nice when people just say hello. Thank you. I like to do more BTS stuff in the field. Actually, I like to take this opportunity too to ask you guys, what do you want to see more of? I mean, typically I'm sitting here and the background is there. I don't mean more of like in my room, but this is kind of most of my episodes. They're easy to do and I can talk to camera, but I am trying to do more episodes where I go out in the field. I reviewed an Olympus, the OM3, with my wife. We head out to the streets of Hanoi. That one did pretty well, so I'm debating whether to do more episodes like that. They require a little more production value, so if I'm on a shoot that week or if I've got a busy month, they're a lot harder to do, whereas these, I can have an idea, script the idea, film it, and kind of get it done in like an honest, if I put an honest work day into it, I can get the whole thing done. Those probably take about 2 days. But listen, I enjoy doing them. I enjoy showing you guys Vietnam. It's quite hot right now. But as we head into our winter, it will, it'll get a little bit cooler, and I'm more likely to go out. Go out in the sun. Even sunrise can be hot, but I'll go outside, shoot some more in the field stuff. I want to show you guys some impromptu things. I did have an idea. Look, guys, let me know what you think. I was thinking about going out and actually doing. I don't know if these are actually working well. How's my audio, by the way? Someone tell me. I'm not hearing my voice through here, so maybe these aren't working as well as I thought. If someone out there could let me know if the audio is okay, that would be quite helpful, because I'm always sort of testing these things and I can't really tell. I struggle a little bit with these earpods Max. Maybe I'll go with these instead. Let's see if that's better. Testing. Guys, let me know how the audio is, if it's changed at all. Like, I'm not hearing myself through here, but I haven't done a live stream and I can't remember if I'm supposed to hear myself through here or not. Let's see. Okay, good question. All right, thank you, Benji. How do you edit Leica colors? I recently went from an M9P to an M10P and I'm struggling with the colors. Okay, good. Glad to hear the audio is good. Listen, I wish I had a complex answer that I go through these like color wheels on Capture One and do it in an interesting way. I really don't. I just, I'm not complex in my post-production at all. I come from a background in documentary and editorial where we're not really allowed to do that, and nor do I like doing that so much. And so for my commercial work, I outsource my colors. I have an idea of what I like. I work with a retoucher, and he knows my style a lot. For my hotel work, he knows the kind of color palette that I'm looking for. I go more off of like, match this, I like that, but less of this, and kind of go off of gut. When it comes to my assignment work, I'm just quick on Lightroom. I don't do a ton with the color. Sorry, I wish I had a more satisfying answer. And then for my long-term documentary work, I might tweak it a little bit more because I have a little more time with that. So my Rhino work, but again, I'm not like one of those people that's up in my screen staring at the colors and using it. A lot of my high-end commercial work, someone else does it for me because I'm not at the level that it need to be to do that. Like I have a budget for that, if that makes sense. So I can hire someone to really do that stuff well. So sorry, I have a more satisfying answer for you there. I just sort of look at it, I go off a feel, and I make my adjustments. I had a little bit of contrast through bringing up the midtones, bringing down the blacks. I had a little tiny bit of clarity. My slider game for my images is fast, man. Honestly, like my old teacher used to say, if you were spending more than 30 seconds, I mean, that was before now, you could do stuff a lot faster. But he said, if you're spending more than 30 seconds on a photo, you've done something wrong. So I try to get everything right in camera. I try to, I look at certain lenses, certain cameras, and I'm like, okay, I like this color and it works well for me. And that's kind of it. And I just shoot in a neutral profile. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, I just don't like to edit. Like for people that really like to shoot film and do post-production, I admire that. I just don't. And I had to know, for my commercial work, I had to know what I like, if that makes sense, and kind of what's possible and what's not. And even for our video work, like we'll have a color grader do it, and I just have to know, like, that's just too saturated, or that's not what I like, or, I'll say the most satisfying camera I've ever had for color was my Hasselblad X1D. I just really liked it out of camera. I used to just take the saturation down a tiny bit on that, and beautiful just out of camera. But no problems with my Leicas, no problems. The Sony doesn't quite have the color that I love, but I make a couple adjustments, and then it does, it just sort of play around with white balance and get it to where I want, and that's kind of it. But really, I use my Sony for high-end commercial work, and that's where someone else is doing the color for me, so I kind of have the best of both worlds. My personal work, Leica is pretty good out of the camera, and so I use it for that, and then I don't have to do a lot of work. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, I'm just sort of promoting this now, guys. If more people are joining in, so I'm going to promote on Instagram as well. So ask your questions here. Really, I'm open to answer anything. Like if you think your question's stupid, don't think that, because all questions I'm open to. I love hearing from people. I don't care what level you are. It's the same with my online classes. People are like intimidated to start a one-on-one class with me, or even a 1-hour session, because they're afraid like it might not be good enough. I've taught people in my mentorship with like 0 photography experience, all the way up to other professional photographers working in the field for decades. So, I know how to teach different levels. I love teaching different levels, and there's always something you can learn. Let me see. I'm just trying to. This is the problem. Like you can't promote the link when you do it on the. Okay. Another question from Matt here. Why orange tone? Matt, you're gonna have to ask Sony. I don't know. Are you shooting in like are you just shooting in a neutral profile? I mean, I never like to use any of like the pre-baked color profiles in any of my cameras at all. I just shoot in neutral. So in Sony, just shooting their neutral color profile, it comes off flat, and then you make the tones yourself, and then you make the color and dial everything yourself. But yeah, I mean that's sort of the knock, right, on a lot of Sony stuff. But positive stuff about Sony is just, man, they just work so well. Like I just recently, just to give you guys a gear update, I recently upgraded. I have a weird sort of dynamic with my team in photography. Like not far from my house, we have our studio. So that is like a sort of a lower budget photography studio where I train younger photographers to do studio photography at a high level, but for an affordable price. And then we also have my commercial photography business, which is Mott Visuals, and then that's very high end stuff like big ad campaigns, video shoots, commercial photography shoots, and things like that. And for that, we use a lot of Sony stuff. And then I also do my own personal stuff through a couple different agencies. I have one sort of big mega client I work with out of the U.S. and I run that. I do that through a production company, and for that I use Sony. I mean, I've always wanted to use Leica, but I recently upgraded to a Sony A1. And you might say, like, why not upgrade to the Sony A2? I just didn't need it. I only needed the Sony A1 because I need silent shutter because I'm sometimes ghosting these shoots. So the video might be a priority, and there's a video team there, and they're taking audio. So I just can't be loud at all. And then it doesn't have the warping that I shot with the A7R5. If I moved a little bit, you'd get this like crazy warping. So anyway, I upgraded to the Sony A1. I love it. I don't love it like I love a Leica. I just love that it works. That's the thing about the camera. Like people ask me all the time, like, why don't you just use your Leica stuff on commercial work? I tried on like a very low maintenance shoot, like interior shots for a hotel with the Leica SL2, and it was clunky, man. People get mad at me like, it's not. I've used it. Yeah, I used it like professionally and hardcore for a couple days. Like hardcore meaning like a lot of images and at a high level of shoot. And I'm not really running into the paces. It's in an air-conditioned environment. I'm not shooting fast, but I'm doing multiple exposures, and it just sucked. The app didn't work well. It would autofocus when I didn't want it to. Like all these little bugs that I just can't happen and don't happen with Sony. So that's why I don't use it. You might say, well, why not just use Sony for all your personal work? Well, I don't love the experience. Like the more I learn the menu system of that camera, the more confident and comfortable I am with it. But I don't love it naturally in my hands. However, if I'm doing a big shoot and I need something I can rely on, I always take two cameras, but I feel a lot more comfortable just with one camera with a Sony. Battery life's going to be good. Batteries are affordable. I can interchange things out pretty easily. And with my video team, I could swap things out. And most of the time, if I'm in another country, I can rent if I needed to upgrade or I needed to add something. So anyway, I went off a little bit of rant there on the Sony stuff, but I wanted to share with you guys a little bit of update. So I upgraded to a Sony A1 before we had the Sony A7R5. We still have that. That'll be my backup camera, but 50 and 60 megapixels play nice together. Or sometimes I'll take the Sony A1 and then maybe the A7. We have an A7 IV as a backup camera. Like typically my clients, if I'm shooting 50 megapixels, 30 is still okay. I don't have too many clients that are like, oh, I couldn't shift if something went wrong with my camera to go 50 to 30. Even like high-end clients really aren't bugging me about that stuff. I'm not doing a lot of billboard stuff, but I'm doing big client stuff. But 30 is plenty. 24 is usually fine. Okay, questions are coming in. Keith said, is Hanoi friendly for street photography, or do people get offended with candid shots? Yeah, that's a tricky one. I would say of all of Asia, Hanoi is going to be a little more rough like China can be rough. Like you might, like your average security guard here is kind of an ass. They really are. I'll call them like unsanctioned sheriffs. They're always trying to like tell you, don't do this, don't do that. However, I find when you peel back a little bit, you spend more time with people in Hanoi and get past that rough side, people are very friendly here. And I will say, as far as being fruitful for street photography, oh my God, there's not many places that are better than Hanoi in the world, I don't think, because at 5 o'clock in the morning, when good light is happening, most places in the world, there's not anything happening. It's good light, but nothing's happening. You go out in the streets at 5 a.m. in small town America, probably not much you're going to see. Okay, fine. If you want to do a project about empty streets, great. But in Hanoi, man, there'll be action at 5 o'clock in the morning, and there will be a lot of things. It's almost like hard to pick where you want to focus. There's someone making something over there, someone walking by, something over there. Markets are great, indoor, outdoor markets, hustle, bustle, everything. It's madness. That's why I love it here. I mean, that's why I fell in love with Hanoi and never really left. Been here for 20 years. It's just the streets are filled with excitement. You might get once you sort of get past that, like, oh, someone's like, hey, that kind of stuff. Like, who really cares? Like, no one's aggressive. It's not like New York aggressive where someone's gonna say, F you to you or maybe physically assault you. That's very, very highly unlikely here. If you get yourself in a situation in Vietnam, you probably haven't read the room right. Like, someone's probably warned you a couple times to back off and you haven't. So that's on you. But Keith, I think you would love it here for street photography. I think it's amazing. Fruitful, good stuff at good light. And, Ho Chi Minh City down south, Saigon is also very nice. I just don't think it has as much character. It's always hot down there, but the people, I think Hanoians would say that too. The people are a little bit more friendly as you go down south. Well, at least more friendly on the surface. But I don't mean to knock Hanoi. It's actually wonderful as well. I'm still trying to promote this little link here. I can't get it up here. Guys, ask your questions away, okay? As a disabled and extremely passionate enthusiast, how do I get more views on Instagram? I get basically no views, but I think my work deserves more views. Yeah, you can post your Instagram here. Sure, take a look. I mean, I'm not going to have time to analyze it here during this session. However, don't be discouraged about Instagram and the algorithm. My Instagram page in 5 years hasn't grown at all. And I post daily. I do reels. I do all the stuff they say you're supposed to do. And it just has not grown. I mean, I get decent engagement when I post my photo debate. That seems to work well. But I just don't grow. I always I see new followers every day. It just doesn't grow. I don't get a lot of views. I don't know. It's just overly saturated, and they changed a long time ago. I think with Instagram, if you got in early, you could have built up a huge following very early, and now it's almost impossible. So please don't be discouraged by that. I would say if you're shooting for Instagram, you're not going to shoot your photography the right way anyways, because it just forces you to shoot different, a good example is my favorite images that I take don't do well on Instagram, and so I don't let that shape me though. But I'm also more confident because I've been doing this for a long time. So I don't know. But yeah, it can be discouraging, and I get that. But try not to let it discourage you, because it's just a weird platform. I would post your stuff I use my social media as an ecosystem. So I use Instagram. I don't get a lot of views there, but I use it to bring people back to YouTube, where I might do a snippet about something on Instagram, so then people want to go on YouTube and see the whole episode. So I kind of use it just to advertise. And again, it doesn't get a lot of reach. Or I use it just to educate people quickly on something, here's a quick little tip. Or how I've been using it recently is going back to my photo debate thing, which does quite well. And so it just I like people having a dialogue about photography, talking about it, making people think about images. And so photo debate is back, and it's strong. And God, it's so funny. So my photo debate, I always have choose A or B. There's always one person that has to say neither and just be I don't know. It's just so funny to me. I'm not asking people for advice on my photos. I'm asking you to think about which one is better and why, without context, because it's just I don't. It doesn't need to go that deep. But I got into it with one guy the other day, and it's just well, I'm just trying to start a debate. Well, how is neither a debate? Say neither and why, maybe, or I don't know. I don't see why people need to say neither, but that's online. That's YouTube. That's people. People like to. And one of the images was published prominently in the New York Times. So I'm all right, well, it's good enough for them. Sorry, it's not good enough for you. That's my little rant there. Please talk about your conservation work. Yeah, sure, Benji. You just got a lot of questions today. I love it. You guys chime in as well. So Benji's asked me about my conservation work. So yeah, so I'm I want to get my live streams up where I'm sharing my screen and showing work as well. But these open Q&As, it's just kind of my low budget version with my overexposed sun outside. I'm not gonna light this entire room. Normally my light's here. Anyway, my conservation work comes from my heart. I love animals. I love those kind of stories. My background is as a documentary photographer. That's where I started. So I like telling long form stories. So when I turned 40 a while back, now I'm 47 now, but when I turned 47 years ago, I realized I hadn't done much personal work. I've really had my legacy projects, what I want to be my legacy as a photographer. And I just decided I'm just going to sniff out some of these stories and find them. And I'm curious about these people. I'm inspired by people who help animals. So, people are always worried in my one-on-one classes, how do I start a project? I haven't worked for the New York Times. I don't have the portfolio that you do, or I've never done this or that. I'll say, yeah, great. But I didn't have any of this at some point either. And neither does anyone. You just find ways. So I reached out to some of these conservation conservancies, some people, individuals, used my connections like you would do with anything, network. and I got access, and I trade access, and I say, listen, I'll be easy. I'll donate my pictures because in these situations, I'm going to them. They're not coming to me. I like to put value on photography, so I don't just say they can use them to give to other publications, things like that, but they can use them to help raise money. I feel like that's a fair trade. I know I can deliver. I'm easy to deal with. I work hard, and I try to give them, a different perspective on things. Like, I'm going to tell this story. I'm going to spend a week here, 2 weeks here, not just a day. And this is what I'm trying to capture. And then I do put the effort in. I do follow through, and then it helps me with my reputation. But that work means the world to me. If you're interested in my conservation work, you can go to justinmott.com. Some people get confused. I have Ask Mott, which is just my online classes and teaching photography, some gear reviews, but really just like online classes, workshops, presets, a couple things like that. And then Justin Mott is my editorial work, and then Mott Visuals is my commercial work and video production company that I run with my wife. Okay, Stephen asked a question when he called me Jason. All right, you know what, Stefan, I'm going to call you. People call me Jason all the time. I just got a Q2 monochrome and I fall in love with a black and white portrait photography grain. Do you want a Q2 monochrome? No, Stephen, I don't. I've used some of the monochrome cameras. For me, I always look at a camera purchase as, can I justify it? Can that camera, often I say to myself, as a professional, I say to myself, like, can that camera pay for itself at some point, And that's not the only thing, or else I could just keep doing assignments and have all these cameras. But I try to look at it like, is there a use for that? Is there a slot in my photography? Will it put me in situations that maybe I'd like to? I don't shoot black and white enough on its own to justify a black and white camera. I have romanticized about it, but what I typically do is I just put when I want to shoot black and white, I put this in my bag, a little Ricoh GR3X. I have a black and white sort of high contrast setting that I just like. It's just like a different look. It's a JPEG file. I'll still have the color file, but it previews in black and white. I shoot in black and white, and it cost me $900. Oh, Bench, thank you for the donation. That's really sweet of you. I appreciate it. So yeah, I mean, that's, they have a new one out now. I think the GR4. I don't know what the differences are yet. I haven't really gone into it, but this is my dedicated black and white camera. $900. I could justify 5, 6, 7 grand. Couldn't justify in like an M monochrome or a Q monochrome. I think it works well for some people. I haven't fallen in love with like the difference that you can see in the files, but I am also not qualified to go that deeply into it and see it. But I definitely see the appeal, and I love that people love it. It just, right now for me, it's not a thing. Like I have too much going on. I shoot my Sony kit is for my commercial work and some of my video work, and then my Leica kit is for my personal street photography and documentary work. That's kind of my setup right now. Hope that makes sense. Yeah, and Benji, feel free to share your Instagram with me privately too. I'll give you a follow. So send me a message on Instagram. I'll follow you back if I don't already, and go from there. You guys just take a moment while you formulate some great questions that you're going to ask me. Don't forget to check out askmott.com. Anyone interested in just help with their photography, I have 1-hour sessions, and that just could be an open Q&A, or we can customize it if you just want to talk about personal project, if you just want to talk about gear, or if you just want some open feedback about your work and where you're at so far. That's it. It flows like that. So you fill out a little questionnaire. I guide the hour session based on that questionnaire, and then people that want to grow into doing more with me, I have a mentorship program that's full access to me. You pay for 4 sessions at a time per month. You can do 1 month or month to month. I only have a few of those every month, so you check out the availability at askmott.com. Then I have my Central Vietnam Photography Workshop, 5 to 6 students only. I think we have 2 slots left, so that is a really cool one. That's an amazing way to see Vietnam, and this is a brand new location this year, so it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, guys, in the comment section, you guys, I will put a link to askmott.com. Anyone interested in checking out that kind of stuff. I'd love to hear your feedback, you guys, on my channel, what you'd like to see more of, what you'd like to see less of. I had someone in my recent one-on-one class say to me, like, hey, dude, you know what? Like, you used to always say, like, the thing about working for the New York Times, you shot over 100 assignments, and then you shared, like, some of your tear sheets really quickly in your intro. He's like, why did you stop doing that? He's like, that's the reason that I watched your whole video, is because I don't see many people with that sort of background on YouTube. And I was like, yeah, I guess I was too guided or misled by comments, because I would get, like, the one jerk who would be like, dude, we get it, you shoot for the New York Times. And then my wife was always like, well, yeah, but you should say that, because a lot of people that are new that haven't seen you. So, like, I don't want to bore you with giving you my resume every single time. So I'm trying to find a happy medium. I do. Oh, it's all right, Steve. I don't care. I'm just teasing you. but yeah, so I don't know, like I will maybe do a little intro. I don't know if those little intros bug you. I know when I watch some channels, like I don't want it to be super long. I don't want to promote all the time, you guys. That's why I want to do more stuff like this for free. But I like to promote my classes because I like teaching my classes, and so I promote that. And maybe I should like lead up front with who I am, what I've done, because when I start my episodes, I don't really talk about that. And I do think that's one of the unique things about my channel is that I'm a active working photographer working for some of these big clients. No, but I also kind of feel like a douche saying it every time. So I don't know. You let me. Douchey, not douchey. Let me know in the comment section. Guys, these things work well when you ask questions. So you can ask away. Don't be shy in the comment section. I think I've shared it on, let's see, I've shared it here. Give me 1 sec. I'm just also going to share on YouTube in my little area. All right, lesson learned here is get these things ready to promote ahead of time. The problem is when I do things sort of on the cuff like this, then I have to promote while you guys are watching me. It's probably a little bit boring. It'd be fun for you guys to let me know, like, while you're watching me, what are you doing? Are you also at work? Are you guys also, where are you coming in from? I guess it's Sunday, so you guys aren't at work. It's Monday for me. Let me just promote this really quick. Next time I will do a better job at this. I just say that, and then I don't. Thank you. Yeah, Stephen, you know, it's tough. Like you said, like, I appreciate your honesty. Thank you. It does, like, it gives me into some crap sometimes. Like, if I'm being completely honest, like, I think, like, when I've talked about Steve McCurry, I have honest opinions about him and his role and how it was sort of brushed under the rug, all his scandals about Photoshop. People get really mad when I talk about that. Everyone thinks when you have an alternative take on things, you're just being honest. You're jealous of other people. I have zero jealousy towards other YouTube channels, to other photographers. I'm very happy with where I'm at. I'm very content with where I'm at. I'm very like easy, happy person by default. So when I say these things, I'm always talking about, like, when I'm talking about, like, no soul in street photography, the episodes that get me in trouble, or like, you know, Steve McCurry scandal and how I feel about that, and YouTube photographers not really as good as people think they are. All those things don't. I'm really just trying to educate people. If someone has 1 million followers on YouTube, good for them. Does that make him a good photographer by default? No. And so I like to talk about that. I don't like to call people out by individual names because I'm not a hurtful type of person. But I do see some problems with when people listen to advice from YouTubers that are talking about what it's like to work as a professional photographer, and I feel like that advice is wrong because I have a lot of experience in the field. I like to talk about those things. Do I think, like, I know photography? Yes, it's subjective, sure, but there's some like bad photography out there, and there's just some bad information out there. And I do think that people actually start to believe their own BS. So like you start to get, it's like same with like chefs and things like that. Like on Instagram, like, there's really good chefs that have been classically trained and work well. And it doesn't mean like they're gatekeeping and they're the only ones that know things. But there's other people that cook at home, and maybe it's a dude with abs or whatever it is, or someone's really attractive and they like cut onions a certain way, but it's like really not the right way to cut onions. But everyone just thinks they are because they have a bunch of followers. But they have a bunch of followers not because they cut onions well, but because they look good with a shirt off on, whatever. You know, it's sort of like that. And so I like to correct these things. I like to say, like, hey, I think this is just kind of wrong, you know, or this isn't good information. I really like to think of my audience when I make episodes. So I do get the occasional, like, you know, every time I do my episodes a little like more bold, a couple people get upset, but I've learned to just sort of brush that. One guy said, like, oh, I subscribe to you, but your episode about, you know, YouTube photographers not being as good as you think they are, whatever, something like that. He said, that's sort of gatekeeping and it comes off bitter. I'm like, you know what? Like, you think that's okay, but I'm not bitter. And I don't think my channel is gatekeeping at all. I think you're kind of misusing that term because I openly share information about contracts, a little bit about money, about my experience in photography. I've always helped other photographers, even my direct competition. I have helped them improve their business by giving advice. So I'm the opposite of gatekeeping. Ron, thanks for saying hello from Kingston, Ontario. Tell me the weather there. I'd like to hear it because it's like approaching 30 degrees today. It'll be hot out there. It's hot. I can't wait to get outside. I love being outside when I shoot. And outside for me, shooting weather would be like, I would love to like 60 degrees Fahrenheit or like 10 degrees, 15 degrees Celsius is good for my kind of shooting. Yes, Rory, I am calling them out. I'm going to call out more people if you have them. No, but Specifically, I don't like to call out individuals, but the McCurry thing itself, I called him out because it's such a big scandal. I don't think it was handled well. I I don't have apps, and I just like most. Good. Well, Benji, you're my type of person then. You know, I have apps that just hidden behind a lot of other unpleasant things. But I do like that. I think the overall response I've gotten from my channel, and we've grown slowly, is that people do appreciate my honesty, and so I like that. You know what I mean? And that shows me that I'm on the right path. We've grown. I have to do a lot of episodes compared to most people to get followers. Like I've seen people pass me that, but I like they'll review everything. Like anything comes out. Like here's my oatmeal spoon. Check it out. This thing is 1 megapixel, has oatmeal left over on it, and it's made out of metal. That was a terrible review. Maybe that's why I don't get a lot of viewers. But yeah, I really only review stuff that I'm genuinely interested in. Like even a little bit of a break for me was like trying that Olympus camera. They reached out to me. I don't really know how they found me. I think people get confused too because they're like, "Oh crap, we have to send it to you in Vietnam." I'm like, "Yeah," but like my audience is in the U.S. I shoot around here. I think that's kind of interesting to some people. But I was interested in that camera. I thought it'd be kind of cool. It's not something I bought. It's not something I'm going to buy, but it was fun to try out, and I think I can put myself in that mindset. But I'm not going to do a ton of reviews. Like I got a new piece of equipment, got a Sony A1, got a Sony 28 to 70. Haven't used it enough to test it out. Like I don't do things like that. I might give you a quick preview of it, but like I want to know that I really like something before I'm trying to put it out there to you guys. And when I put it out there to you guys, I'm not trying to sell you on it. I'm just trying to tell you my experience and who it might work for, maybe who it doesn't. But I really don't encourage people to invest in new equipment unless you absolutely have to. Invest more in your time and yourself and your photography. All right, we still got a decent amount of viewers here. I mean, just for doing this last minute, I like it. Not a ton of questions, so like a more active audience here. But you know, I'm here. I'm here for you to ask me questions. All right, Stephen coming in hot with AI. Oh my goodness, this could go. How do you feel about AI and the misuses of AI in photography, specifically how to create things like high detailed macro shots or anything else generated? Oh, this is Rory coming in from the Gold Coast of Australia. I'm going to Australia next week. Or the week after, I'm going to Brisbane. I'm going to Melbourne. I've been to one, haven't been to the other. But any ideas you have for places to go? I'm there for work, but I'm going to tack on a couple days at the back end. Anyway, okay. So AI, I am nervous about it in journalism, obviously, because I've seen people make terrible ethical mistakes in journalism as that field gets more saturated. Contests become important to people. Getting ahead becomes important to people. Money's not there. It's just a recipe for people to abuse AI. And I think it's going to happen the same way it's just happened with Photoshop, but it's even easier now and even harder to sort of track. So yes, I think it's an issue. I think the idea to combat it with these like I've drawn a blank on the name of it, but like Adobe and like his whole thing. I did a whole episode about it, but like they're basically when they embed the information on your file that like if it's been manipulated, I think great, but unless everyone does it, it's useless because it's people like don't need to put it on their cameras, don't need to use it. So I think it'd be nice if all magazines and newspapers, respectable ones, made you use that. I think that would be cool, but that's also hard to police because you're telling people they have to spend gear, but you're not paying them any money. However, do I feel in commercial photography? Yes, I worry about it a lot. I have these conversations a lot. I think it's just people that are going to be better at that are going to get ahead in certain fields. But I also think like it's going to free up a whole world of people that are really good at authenticity, which is what I'm good at. And I've already sort of baked that into my SEO. I've put that into my branding a little bit. I'm putting more into my branding for Mott Visuals, even more into my Justin Mott. I think people with a background like me in journalism, there's trust there, there's brands behind me. So I leverage that now for my commercial clients. And there's going to be a lot of commercial clients that are just going to take the easy road. Hotels as well. Like they're just going to say like, okay, like, yeah, like just AI it, And then there's just weird rules for it too. Like, no, we can't change these things, but we can use AI here. Or we can do this, but we can't do that. Some of them don't make any sense to me. But I do think, yes, that's what it is. Content credentials. Sorry, Ray. That's the word I was looking for, the phrase I was looking for. And haven't used it yet. Don't have it on my current camera. But yeah, so I am worried about it. I'm going to learn, like we'll use it for some of our commercial work just to make it easy to remove things. I worry about just making something out of nothing. I worry about that sort of killing our hotel work. I think it's going to be harder with video work. I think there's limitations still that's changing fast. But at the same time, I think there's a small group of clients, big brands that are going to value authenticity, and I plan to leverage my background and experience and just what I believe in, which is authentic images, into that. And I think it's already working well. I do get a lot of clients that are like, hey, let's just like we shoot this 100% natural, and like we'll only lightly tone it and things like that. And I think they do appreciate that. But there's a lot of like just weird hypocrisy too. There's clients that like, okay, let's not manipulate the scene at all here. Like, oh, we can't do that, but then we can change everything in post production. Like, well, what's the point? Either all or nothing kind of thing. So I don't know. Yeah, but yeah. So I'm mixed about it. I want to embrace it to a certain extent, understand it, so I know what our competition's doing, know how we can use it for some things, know how to be upfront with clients. I'm also afraid of like the usage stuff, because like they can turn your image into, so like, you know, being able to take, okay, you did one set of images and then we can take the models and then reuse their face and that kind of stuff. I don't think we're strong enough as photographers, as models, like unionized enough that we can combat this. You know, it's the same thing with licensing images. I'm one of the few photographers left in my region that says like, okay, you have 5-year usage and we own the raw. It's like, no, everyone else just gives everything away now. And it's tough, because that's a big part of our business. It's like usage. And yeah, of course someone can do a full buyout. I have a few clients that pay me a significant amount of money for a full buyout of the images. And that's used to be how it was done. But now more content creators don't know what that is, don't care about that, give their stuff away. So then they work with us and like, what do you mean? We just want to own everything, use it as long as we want. I'm like, well, no, yes, you can, but you have to pay more. And like, no, we just want it for that price. I'm like, so losing battle, because a lot of people out there are just folding. Everyone wants the quick buck. No one wants to put the time in. I try to educate though about that stuff. I do my best, but look, I just did an episode about why photographers need a deposit. And it got like -5 views. Look, I don't know. It doesn't work well. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you. Sorry, long-winded answer there. Let's see. Ken, let's see. Ken asked, thank you, Justin, for being an inspiring educator. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Do you know exactly what you want to capture before going out, or do you prefer to watch an event unfold and react to it? Yeah, I do both, right? So my commercial work, I have a pre-visualization, a little bit of like kind of the mood that the client wants. Maybe there's been references sent to me, maybe not. But I'm quite unique, I think, in my commercial work, is that I'm not a pre-visualizer so much. I really like to let a scene unfold a bit. So let's just take hotels, for example, or lifestyle hotels, you know, which is like models in a hotel atmosphere. The client might say, we need a couple having drinks at the bar. So if you like go to Mott Visuals, you can see different versions of this. You can see a full shoot. Like if you really want, I'll put a link here. Just go to Mott Visuals. But just to see, this would be helpful to you guys. Like go and see, like I've been putting full shoots on my website now, because I'm quite proud of the work we do from start to finish, not just showing our highlight reels. And I want clients to see that too, because I think that makes us unique. Like we're not just going to get like the one hero shot. We're going to give you Kairos for 30 shots. We want all 30 to be good. Like maybe 25 enough. But so yeah, so I'll go in and say, okay, the models are here. Like a lot of photographers that do commercial work, we just have it all pre-lit in their head, how exactly they want to look. I work more off of natural light. I work more off of let the light dictate where I want to start my canvas, if you will. That sounds cocky, but where I want to start my image. And then I place the models in the scene around that. Now, of course, if it's like low light, or the light's going in the corner, there's nothing interesting there, then fine, we'll light it in a way. But it's good for me to understand where the sun might come in at a different time of day, and then mimic the sun with our lighting. And then I sort of create the scene like, hey, here's the bartender, interact with the couple, make it natural. Well, people get really stiff. So then I just say, just make them a drink, and then I'm just going to shoot it. And so if I'm pre-lit with everything, I can't do that and work around. But if I kind of know the angle that I want and the natural light's working, or I have like maybe 180, maybe 360 degrees of good light, I can shoot from the bartender's perspective, from the couple, and I can work my way around that scene. And I feel like it makes me get something different. It's a producer's nightmare, because like they have to constantly switch things and moves, like, oh, that in the background, get out of the way. So I'm a little bit unpredictable. My wife produces for me. I think she's the only one that can put up with me. But yeah, but I believe in that, and I fight for it in a fun way, and I work hard, and I think that gets me something different. Now, however, my documentary photography, no, it's just pure. It's like, well, I go out, I did the rhino story. I don't know what to expect. I know I might look at references. Maybe someone's done the story before. Maybe I've just seen pictures on the website, and then I just kind of go in with an open mind. But if I go in with too much of a closed mind, I'm going to go in with what I've shot before, what someone else shot before. If I go in with an open mind, I'm going to hopefully capture something completely different. And of course, I still want to get like my greatest hits every time I go out there, but I try to leave a lot of room and time in my personal work to experiment and try new things, and even fail at times. So that's a great question. Thank you, Ken. So documentary, react, commercial work, set up a scene and react to that scene. I guess is a good way to do it. Serious question. How do you deal with the humidity in Vietnam that affects your camera? I live in deep south and run into this all the time. Yeah, well, first of all, every time with humidity in Southeast Asia, for any of you who haven't experienced it, it is intense. Like when we do a commercial shoot, wherever we are, a lot of times we're staying at hotels. So let's just say I was in Bangkok recently, stayed at a hotel, shoot's gonna be at 5 o'clock in the morning. Maybe we start shooting at 5:30. I need to have my gear out of that hotel room, or I've turn the AC off in my room, or have my assistant take the gear outside and let it just fall in a way, fall the right. Oh, excuse me, but it is so, the condensation can be terrible on your lenses. So I've run into that situation before where it's like I had to go right into shooting and it just fogs up the back of the lens, the sensor, the front of the lens, and you're wiping and it's fogging, and you're wiping, it's fogging because you're going from really cold AC. So one, I try not to jack the AC up. Two, if I really have to shoot for sunrise, then I need to be up way before sunrise and get the gear outside and just let it adapt. Myself personally, I've never adapted. I am like constantly sweating, constantly gross. So my way to adapt in shooting in high humidity is I wear clothes that are like odor free. I wear clothes that dry quickly, and I try to wear dark clothes that don't show how gross I actually look in the moment. So I see, like, yeah, there's a lot of people that like look a lot more graceful when they take pictures than I do. But I like to say that I like to think that, okay, I can make up for it with the quality of my work. And I'm shooting luxury resorts, so it's funny. It's like, I used to try to dress up to shoot luxury resorts, like maybe some linen or maybe button down. I'm like, oh, screw that. Just like some sort of Viore t-shirt that is like anti-odor and breathes well and can dry. That's kind of funny. I feel like I am definitely a sweater. Oh my God, am I a sweater? 20 years out here in Vietnam, and it never gets better. However, it's funny when I work with some crews that come from the US, and I always think like, oh, these guys are like really fit, and people always associate like you're sweating a lot because you're fat. Like, but I'm actually in decent shape for a fat guy. Like I've done a bunch of triathlon, I've done a bunch of half Ironmans. I exercise pretty frequently. I just sweat a lot. And I don't lose weight easy, but yes, I sweat. But I see these guys from the US come over fit, and I just see them sweating like crazy. And it makes me feel a little bit better about myself. Let's see, what other questions? Benji asks, it's refreshing to see a real photographer, not an influencer, actually taking us on location. That way, yeah, I think I would like to do that a little bit more, Benji, too, is actually like show you how I break down a scene in natural light. I was thinking about this episode, and you guys let me know. I really do want your feedback on stuff, guys, because like you guys are my true, subscribers and people that like our community, I would like to say. So my house is really good with natural light. So I was thinking about doing like a lifestyle shoot here, or even a portrait shoot in my house, and just sort of walk you through, like have my wife, whatever outfit she wants to wear, just sort of go around the house and take portraits of her and show you how I could get like 20 different portraits in this house, all with the same sort of light, how I think of the background, how I think of the light. Let me know if that's something you'd be interested in. Another episode I'm really considering is going around the streets of Hanoi I bought an Leica R series 180mm lens. Every once in a while I need a long lens, and that R series lens has a lot of character. It's a cool lens. So I was thinking about doing a full like morning street photography shoot with a 180 and just see what I can come up with in Hanoi, and kind of maybe dispel the myth about like you need to get close, you need a wide angle lens. So we'll see. I don't know, maybe I'll fail miserably, but it could be fun. Oh, Steven said, I want to do one of your 1-hour sessions to critique my best 10 photos. Any advice how to pick those 10? I have so many I love. How do you feel like you do a video? Yeah, maybe I would. Like, well, Steven, yeah, that would be great. Like, I love doing the 1-hour sessions with people, and it's guided towards like what people want. People are intimidated by them, but you don't need to be. But basically, yeah, I have you pick your 10 best images. The exercises for you offline is to really look at your work and analyze it. I don't say that they should be like your 10. The exercise for me isn't like your best 10 doesn't need to be like your best portrait, your best news shot, landscape. No, just like what you think your best 10 are, because I think that'll help you identify what you're strong at and what you really like in your photography. I also find it interesting too that some people pick like the wrong photos. So sometimes when people do a longer session with me or mentorship, I look at their other work, or some people do a full-on portfolio review where they send me, I do that, it's a different session, it's an hour and a half, but they send me like 300 of their photos, and then I take it down to 20 and they take it down to 20, and we kind of compare notes, and it's a great exercise. But just in general, even if you don't want to do a session with me, just edit your work every once in a while, take it down to your best 10 and just go through. And you just pick it based on like, hey, what did you feel? Like try to let the emotion not be so attached. Like, oh, that trip to Italy was so much fun with my family, but the photos sucked. Or you went to Vietnam and you thought it was interesting, but the photos sucked. Like, no, you probably took better pictures in your backyard because you were more comfortable with those people. Or maybe not, but it's a good exercise. And we go through the photos and talk about how to improve them, composition, light, and then just try to give you some direction in your photography. So anytime, book online, askmott.com. Happy to do it. I have a session tomorrow, and then I have 2 mentorship students the day after that, and things roll in the education part. And I do travel for work, so people are like, oh, how does that work? But I have a whole office administrator, a whole team behind me that sets up the schedule, and we work no matter where I am, and so I'm always available. Okay, reading back through the comment section here, guys. I do encourage you guys, like, for not just me, but anyone you're watching on YouTube is look through their work. Like I think it's a great exercise to see who's telling you what and like how that applies to them. And some people have bad work and they give good advice, sure, but a lot of people that you might want to enjoy their work or at least understand their perspective before you listen to them. So even before you listen to me, look at my work, try to understand what you like about it, what you don't, and then it helps you understand what I'm saying and why. Oh, thank you, Ken. That's so nice. I appreciate you guys. Like, I don't do these things for you to donate to me, but that's really cool that you do. That helps me because I do put a lot of time into this channel. And if you don't know, YouTube ad revenue is absolute garbage. I think I'm at 75,000 subscribers and I probably make $300 a month. And I don't do I do a lot of videos. Like I do a lot of content. I do at least a video a week, but often I do more than that. Anyway, it's very helpful. But really, you guys, the point of this channel is like ask away. No questions too stupid. No, don't be shy about anything. Ask me if you're not comfortable doing it in this atmosphere, this environment. I mean, then ask me privately. But I do like to answer questions here. Oh yeah, Ray. Ray said I've watched your videos. However, I don't recall you've ever done a video on your editing process and what you look for. Have I missed something in your library? No, that is a really good idea. Like I don't do editing. Like people say editing sometimes by choosing, selecting and culling your images. I call it editing too, but some people when I say that they mean like color toning. I don't do episodes about my color balance and toning because it's just not very exciting. Not very I don't think you're gonna learn a ton from it. It's very quick. I do stuff super fast, and the high-end stuff I outsource. So when it comes to my selection of images, yes, I think that's a great idea. It feels on the surface, it always felt boring to me, but at the same time, I need to understand that it's insightful to some people, like how I might take down for a New York Times assignment, how I might look at it 500 images and take it down to 50 or 1,000 images, let's be honest, after a couple days, and take that down to 50 and how they select 3. So maybe that's kind of how I do it. I have this really cool shoot I did for the Smithsonian, so that might be kind of fun, but I can't show it until March next year. The story's not coming out for a long time, but yeah, I could go back through some of my assignments. Maybe I'll do that, kind of talk you through it. I have to figure out the right sweet spot. So if I took you from 1,000 images to 10, that episode would take you a really long time. So I just maybe need to, I'm open to ideas. I think it's a cool idea. I just need to figure out the right way to do it right. But yes, I often forget in my channel, again, my wife gives me these things like, hey, that might be interesting to someone, even though you think it's normal, might be interesting to someone who's never seen that, a professional do that. Sometimes I'm worried oh, that's all he does is a professional, that's not that interesting, or that's not. So I don't know. Sometimes it's a case of that. Sometimes some things I'm very confident in, some things I'm not. We'll see. No, I don't, Benji. I know people do these great cards and things like that. I just don't. Again, my editorial work, we're not spending a lot of time on the color, and my other work outsourcing it. So if I was a one-man band, which a lot of photographers are, fine, but since I have a production company, we have different retouchers we work with. They know what I want. I have producers that can manage all this stuff. For me, commercial photography, honestly, I probably wouldn't do it if I had to deal with all the stuff that my wife and team have to deal with, the 6,000 meetings ahead of time and 20,000 meetings afterwards. I like to understand the client. I can understand that from a brief. I like to talk to people. I like to work with people, but it's excessive sometimes in the meetings. So I like to really I don't know. I work with some clients that are fantastic about here's the brief, this is what I understand, and that's it. And then there's ones that want a meeting about a meeting and then a meeting after the meeting about the meeting that we didn't have yet. Craig says, I'm going to Ukraine in September to do a photo documentary on the medical aspects of the war. First time doing this. Oh, wow. Well, Craig, first of all, man, my mom always says, be careful. She always says, be careful no matter what I do. Just be really careful. I think my tips to you is take your safety serious first. get to know your subjects, talk to people, and like try. I always say like if I always go back to that same thing my old teacher used to say to me, like, show me something I've seen, show me something I've never seen before, or show me something I've seen a different way. So if you're covering the medical professionals there, the medical aspects of the war, I'm sure someone's done this already. Doesn't mean you can't do it, but take a different perspective on it, a different look at it. I would say be patient. Don't go in too much with like a preconceived idea of this is what it's going to be like. These are what the people like. Have an open mind. When you're closed-minded, you're going to go down a path that's very much like maybe even not accurate because you've just had this preconceived notion. Not everyone, but you can. And so I try to go with an open mind about what the story is. That doesn't mean you don't do your research and understand as much as possible, but go with an open mind, have a plan A, have a plan B, because maybe you're following like one, I don't know, I'm just talking off the top of my head, but maybe you're following like one NGO that does medical rescue or helicopter evac or something like that. And then you show up and you don't get access to that. So what's your plan B and plan C? Everywhere I go and I'm investing my time to do a story, I want backup plans. I want to have an open mind. And then just, have good instincts where it's like, oh, this, I thought it was this, but then this lady who takes, dogs out to go do rescues, that's really interesting. That's a great story. And like, she lost someone, and like find that story, sniff it out, no pun intended, but like, and then like really follow that path and let yourself be open to different paths. Do as much research as possible and be careful. That's what I would say. And let me know when you're done and share. I'd love to see it. I would love to be curious of who you tend to pitch this for, if you're going on an assignment or if it's all your own personal work. Let me know. Steven says, when you cull your images, do you delete or save them? I keep everything. I just have to. It's good practice for my clients. So I have hard drives upon hard drives, dry boxes here. We have an office. We keep our one set of hard drives one place, another set of hard drives, backup of everything another place. So all the raws from every single shoot that my business does, and then I shoot not personal, like take a picture of my dog, but any personal assignment work, like I keep a copy of all the raws in two places, and then I keep the selects of my favorite toned images. I keep them in the cloud. So that's a good system for a professional. I don't think every amateur needs to do that, but it's a good. Archiving is not like a fun conversation. I'll probably lose a bunch of viewers right now, but archiving is super important. It's good to have a system in place for it that works for you. I think at least 2 times redundancy is good, but 2 and a third with your selects is good. When I used to shoot weddings, I can't tell you how many times I'm like, hey, to the wedding client, like these, there are after 3 months, it's up to you. I'm not keeping your images backed up. And then a year later, they lost them, and I always kept them, but I don't want to be accountable for that because that should be a fee to keep all that work, and that's a lot of pressure. And so I wouldn't, but I always had it. And same with a client. A client's going to really appreciate that, or anyone's going to appreciate it, or you might just appreciate it. You have a fire at your house, but your stuff's in the cloud. I've seen it. I've seen everything happen. So it's just good to have a redundancy system, and I have that for everything. When I travel, like there's no way I'm coming back from an assignment for 3 days or 5 days or 1 day with just one hard drive of stuff. I've got one hard drive, one location, another location. I'm not telling you where, and then maybe even a third, or maybe I've uploaded a couple raws just in case something happens, emergency. I've got the selects that I think are good for the client. Just that situation to be in once, that's it's just, you can't have it. It's the same with redundancy of equipment. So yes, I keep everything. And then I keep the selects, and I keep them in multiple places. Just have a system, because everyone's brain works differently, so I don't always share my system, but have a system for naming, stay true to that system, have a system for backing up, stay true to that system, and just another general good practice bit while I'm on the archiving thing is like, I don't let a night go by without backing up for the day. People do that all the time. Like, oh, I have to back up at 2 places after a long day. Like, no, two things for me at the end of the day. I back up, it shows me, I can look quickly, make sure there's nothing wrong with my camera, nothing wrong with my files. And so that I don't start the next day with that. And then 2, you just don't make the stupid mistake of like deleting first thing in the morning. So I don't, if I even have a break, I back up. So I back up as frequently as possible, but I don't let 24 hours go by or overnight go by without a backup. Hope that makes sense. Good questions, you guys. Now we're heating up here. We're getting rolling. More viewers coming in. Maybe because I promoted on. Did I promote yet on? I think I did. No, on Instagram. I can't find the link here. I'm trying to promote on Instagram. Give me a sec here. I can't find the live view here. Let's see. Guys, I'll stay on a little longer. I've got some free time today. Just personal things in my life today. Later today, I'm trying my first ever Pilates class. Yeah, because I've got lower back issues. I've got a lot of old man issues, so I'm going to try Pilates for the first time. So next time, if you see me and I'm tangled up in a pretzel, that's why. I'm trying that at 5 o'clock tonight. We'll see. Probably not a good idea before I have 2 big assignments coming up to try something that could further my damage, but let's see. And I'm going to promote this quickly on Instagram because I feel like we're rolling here, so I want to keep it rolling. Oh, hold on a sec, guys. Please ask away there. I see some questions coming in. I'll get to those in 1 sec. I'm just going to do a quick little share this on Instagram, which I should have done earlier, and see if I can get some. There it is. Boom. People can now ask me questions coming. We're going to get the Instagram crew. Is that mean they're going to miss a question? Okay, Craig. Oh, just thank you. No problem. My pleasure. Yeah, Craig, good luck out there, man. Really be safe. I had a friend that went there. I could put you in touch with that friend, too. Just DM me on Instagram. I had a friend. He's not a journalist. He just went there as an individual because he was curious about going to the Ukraine. He's following the war quite closely. I don't know what kind of insight he would have for you doing a project, but maybe. Can't hurt to connect. Can't hurt to swap details and things like that. So go ahead. That's how these things work. That's how you build a network. You ask. You shamelessly ask people for help, and they'll help. I always do it all the time. So DM me and go from there. Let me know who you're shooting for and what's happening there. Guys, ask me questions here, suggestions, ideas for the show, questions about old episodes. All of it is open here today, guys. So just ask away. I mean, I want to do more of these live streams. They really do take, maybe I'll do them a little more like, I don't know, I'm mixed. I like to keep them open to just like open Q&A, but sometimes maybe I can keep them on a certain topic. I don't know. A bit of Czech in Vietnam in the works. And what does that mean, Benji? Do you have an updated Leica accessories video? No, I don't have a ton of accessories for like that. I kind of still use the same rock and roll. I think I even forget my straps. I like I have a mix of. Oh, okay. Let me go. I'll answer your question in a sec, Benji. Let me start with Ray. So, like accessories right now, no bags. I did buy a Billingham backpack. It's like an old school backpack because as my back hurts more, I'm trying to strengthen my core and do all that stuff, but my lower back problems, some shoots I can work like out of a backpack, not in the traditional way. We spin the bag in front and work out of it. I just basically like can put my bag down and work out of it. So I've tried to make a smaller commercial kit for me for some jobs that I have to do solo. So some commercial jobs I have like an assistant with me, and I don't care how big that bag is because he has to carry that. But certain commercial shoots I'm doing solo, and I'm with a team, or I'm ghosting a video team. And so I'm just kind of by myself, and I'm secondary, but I have to self-contained. I have to do everything myself, which is kind of all my background in editorial. So I like having a backpack. A Wovencraft backpack is nice to work out of, but it's not nice to like put down on the ground and sort of work that way. So I bought a Billingham rucksack 25. I think that's what it's called, Billingham rucksack 25. Anyway, I don't feel like going to grab it, but it's over there. But it's I shouldn't be lazy. Let me go grab it. Anyway, I just got this thing. It fits like my entire commercial kit in here, which is a Sony A1, a Sony 28-70, a Sony 85, a Sony 50, and that's it. I don't even think I need a 35 now with that Sony 28-70 f2 lens. It gives me that prime look. It covers me in case something goes wrong with those lenses. So surprisingly, like that does kit out quite nicely in here. Billingham bags are super expensive, but they are very durable. I can have these little side pouches here, rainproof kind of here. Little pocket in the front. So when I go on a shoot too, I travel, airlines are getting pretty crappy with like testing and weighing your bag. So this I don't have to worry about. No one's going to be suspicious of this bag. I'm a big guy. This looks small on me. It's kind of nice for like commercial clients because it looks a little more high end than those ballistic nylon backpacks. Let me kind of show it to you from this way. It has a nice little brass bottom there. I bought this used here in Vietnam, like slightly used, but they're super expensive. But I love it. I just don't like those like techie backpacks so much. I like my Wovencraft bags for like shoulder bags, but and like really when I want to be like low key. But this bag on a commercial shoot, I don't have to worry about being low key. I thought about the green, thought about the black, because this screams like maybe expensive stuff in it. But again, I'm using this for commercial shoots where it's a very safe environment. I could probably use it for some editorial shoots. Vietnam's quite a safe place too, so I never feel worried about that. But yeah, brass little details here. It's not crazy techie. It's not like, oh, it's an old bag. It's been around for like 10 years, but I absolutely love it. I can't turn the camera because I have some Wovencraft bags I'm about to review that aren't out yet. I can't talk about those bags till the end of the month, but 2 brand new bags sort of in the pilot series realm. That's all I'll say. This is the kind of thing, guys, when you do my my live stream, I'm a little more open, a little more loosey-goosey about sharing stuff I shouldn't share with you. Anyway, I can share it, kind of, but not fully yet. But yes, this bag, I won't open it up and kind of show you, but this will pack, I'll have my accessories, I'll have my batteries, I'll have my charger, so I don't have to check anything in camera related. Never want to be in that situation. And then I just have I'm pretty cocky these days. I've got a Billingham briefcase. This is going to have my laptop. I didn't want to go matchy-matchy. Wife advised me against it. But this is just going to be handheld. It's going to maybe have my laptop, but my laptop can also barely, it's not like a padded sleeve, barely can fit in here on top. But my laptop and sort of stuff I need for the plane. And I've got like it's more of like my fancy one for commercial shoots with high-end clients that are paying me a lot. I want them to feel like they're getting their money's worth with my bags. No, I just want to look a little more classy in those situations. But, you know, that bag, I also feel like it's comfortable. The Billingham, I feel like I could take that on assignment work as well, not draw a ton of attention. But yeah, I also have I have like a bag set up for just about every stupid situation you could be in. So you can see that way it's too much. I have a Hadley bag too. I have a bunch of this stuff. So anyway, I won't talk too much about bags, but I could talk all day about bags. Yes, a book about Vietnam, Benji, is something that I have been talking about. I have it in my like little reminders, long-term to-do list. Maybe I need to put it in the short-term to-do list because I have images of 20 years of Vietnam. I don't feel like putting the effort into getting someone to fund it. They're just hard to do that kind of stuff. I'd rather just do things myself. Like I funded my documentary. I can afford to do it. It's just a matter of going through, culling the images. Maybe that's a good one, Ray, where I cull the images and kind of talk you through that for the book. But yeah, I really have a Vietnam book that I feel like I should do. 20 years of assignments and personal work and a lot that I could really make into a book. I started to put them into folders, these images, but I haven't really put the effort in. I imagine it would take like a solid month of really good work, working with a separate editor, finding the right printing company. And it's just complicated. Do I print in Vietnam and ship overseas? Do I print in the US? I don't know yet. I need to learn these things. But yes, a book is in the works. It's something that I should not put off any longer. Last question from Steven. You can ask more, although we are getting over an hour here, so maybe I'll stop soon. Steven asks, I switch between Leica and Fuji GFX medium format depending on the situation. How do you feel about medium format? Yeah, like I don't, it's interesting. Like I used the Hasselblad X1D for a long time for my hotel work because I really wanted a different look. I wanted a different process for me to be in when I took photos, and that camera was so slow, so clunky, but it did force me to slow down. It did force me to not overshoot, something I'm guilty of because those files were so big. So if you use it that way, sure. I think the files to me, I don't know, like, yeah, when I did a gallery exhibition in New York of my Rhino stuff, most of it was shot with like an M10D. I had a couple images because I brought it as a backup camera and I just wanted to side-by-side test it. But I took a couple shots with the Hasselblad and they were like, the only person that noticed the difference was the printer. He's like, hey, why is some of these files like way more detailed? And so he noticed. I think the average person didn't notice. At the exhibition, it wasn't even that easy to tell the difference. So I don't know. If you're doing really fine art, giant prints, sure. Other than that, I'm not going to say no, but it's just not for me. I don't see the difference. Like I'm fine with 60 megapixels on my A7 R5 or 50 on my Sony A1 is all good for me. Artists with cameras, yes. Well, I do have a photo trip in Vietnam. I have a workshop we have one, I do 2 a year, so one up in the northern mountains of Vietnam. That's called my Northern Vietnam Photography Workshop. And I have 2 slots left for my Central Vietnam Photography Workshop, which is in December. And so if you're interested in that, you can just check out askmott.com, go into workshops. You can see, I also do, if people want to book a private workshop with me in Vietnam or abroad, I can put together custom packages. They're expensive, I'm not going to lie, because if I'm flying somewhere, it means I'm not doing a commercial shoot. I'm making a whole personalized, customized experience. Cheaper if you come to Vietnam, but the farther we go, the more it gets more expensive. But if someone has the budget and they really want that one-on-one experience and you can deal with hanging out with me for a couple of days, great. You know, I do these packages. I take a little bit of planning ahead of time, but they're great experiences. So customized private ones or group ones. Even our group ones feel like a private customized one because there's only 5 to 6 people. Just joined late here, no problem. Thanks for taking the time. Love the channel, useful. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that, man. It's nice to hear people give me feedback. Thank you. Any questions, Mark? Ask away. That's what I'm here for. I'll stay a little longer because it seems to be getting more active as time goes on. Ray asks, are you using commercial web platform for your sites? If so, can you share which you use? Yes, you can easily go, Ray. So I have 3 websites right now, 4 websites that I use. 4 actual my websites, but I use 2 different companies. So I've always used Squarespace. Before that, I used Neon Sky, I should say, but I used Squarespace for I don't know, last like 10, 15 years. I create the websites myself. They're quite easy to create. Squarespace is easy. The problem with Squarespace is what I've noticed and learned, because I've been working with a web designer who's one of my online students, and it's just very helpful to me and helped me build a whole new website. Company called Torch. They're amazing. We've already like paid for itself many times over because of the request. Like right away when the website launched on WordPress, I got way more SEO and landed more clients because of how he put in like the client. I won't go too deep. Maybe I'll do a whole episode about that. But anyway, I've always used Squarespace. It's very much like you're going to get sort of the same as everybody else because it's only a certain, you can customize your template, but all kind of look similar, but they're clean, they're slick. You can do e-commerce. And so my AskMont website is my tips website that I could do e-commerce on. Squarespace is very easy for me to set that up. It takes a little bit of time, but not that hard to learn. I'm a dummy with that stuff. I learned it pretty easily. Layouts, pretty much drag and drop. Updating, it's very easy. Downside of Squarespace is that you are limited. Even though it's customizable, you pretty much all the Squarespace websites you can tell look alike right away. The SEO is good, but I don't think it's great. I've learned that through using WordPress. The other thing now is in Vietnam, for some reason, it must be a server thing where they keep them, but WordPress websites load faster, and sometimes my Squarespace sites in Vietnam don't load at all, which is a bummer for me and crappy for me because a lot of my clients I have clients abroad, but I also have clients here, and they need to be able to load my website. And so WordPress also allowed me to have higher res pictures because like I don't understand this technically enough to talk about it in a very educated way, but like they take a different format of file where it could be more compressed so it could load faster without using resolution, which Squarespace doesn't yet offer that type of file, if that makes sense. So whenever I was making my files really small, like 250 kilobytes, and I try to view it on my big iMac screen, they look like crap. And so for me as a professional photographer, that kind of sucks because I think a lot of editors, graphic designers, marketing people that might be looking on a big screen. So Steven, damn, thank you, man. It's so nice people like donating money today. I'm getting more than a coffee today. I'm getting breakfast. Vietnam, that's like 5 breakfasts. So anyway, thank you guys. I really appreciate it. So yes, back to that. So I use askmont.com, Squarespace, verydept.com, which is just like our sort of lower budget, affordable studio website. That's Squarespace. justamont.com, Squarespace. But I really visuals, WordPress, but with a custom designer because I don't know WordPress. It's a lot more complicated and it's a lot harder for me to update on my own. I'm going to have to learn it because I'm not going to bother these guys to update everything. However, way better traction already, but I had a professional help me out. But the next step with him is I think I'm going to migrate my justamont.com and askmont.com over to that. But e-commerce is more complicated there. It was easier to set up. So I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what to do there, but WordPress and Squarespace are the 2 ones that I find. There's other ones out there. Those are just the 2 that I've had experience with. So if you want to hire someone, you don't need to update a lot. I think WordPress is going to be better for SEO. If you're going to do it yourself and you want to update a lot, Squarespace. Does that make sense? Thank you. I appreciate it. Keep the questions coming, you guys. Yeah, so yeah, people asked about the workshop. So Central Vietnam Photography Workshop in December this year. I usually do my workshops in December because that's sort of when my commercial work dies down, around Christmas time. I have a lot of American clients. I have one big American client that they don't typically do stuff around Christmas time. So that frees me up. And that's just a good, fun time of year to be here. Damn, all you guys donating today. I really appreciate that. Yeah, thanks, Ray. So AskMont was just like, I built that myself. It's like not super sexy, but it's just like, it's pictures of me, thumbnails of me and my classes and stuff. And I don't know if I want to lose that site and make it WordPress because it's not very great. It's not very great. It's not awesome for SEO. It's okay for SEO, but it's just not great. Beer Hoy on you, man, Steven. I can get a lot of Beer Hoy for that, $10. But I don't drink beer anymore. I quit drinking beer about 2 years ago. I quit alcohol 2 years ago. People would say, "Oh, I didn't have a problem with it or anything. I just thought it was healthier when I didn't drink it, so I stopped." I'm sharing way too much information, but I was doing triathlons. I felt better, and so I stopped alcohol 2 years ago, and I just felt great not on it. So now I drink a ton of coffee. I always drink a ton of coffee. Let's be honest. Winding down here, guys, but I will answer a couple more questions if you're here, and you guys are popping in with questions. So, and I did just post something on Instagram. So if people want to migrate over, then I'd like to answer the questions. Like I want to do this more. I think I'll do a mailbag so I have some questions baked in so I don't have to fill with my talking about my bag life and other things that I've told you guys about. Got a bunch of bags off camera. Oh, in the comment section, share what bag you like and why I like that kind of stuff. I'm such a bag person. I'm really on a Billingham kick right now. Even though I love Wotancraft, I'm very specific on how I use my Wotancraft Pilot Series bag. Like for editorial stuff, very what I want to be like low key, love it. And modular, awesome. Oh, people coming in. Okay. Yeah, people really like to ask that question. I don't give very satisfying answers, DJ. Good morning. I understand that you have M10D and M11. How different is the color editing files? I'm having issues making my M11 photos shine like my M10R. I don't like, yeah, it's tricky. They are a little bit different. I don't typically use them together. Usually one's like a backup. So if I'm using the M10D, then I want to go shoot without a screen. If I'm using the M11, I'm on an assignment and I need a screen, and the M10D is just there for backup. And my clients, I don't think for like editorial stuff, they're going to notice that big of a difference, so they can make the change. So I notice your skin looks way better now. I don't know what you mean by that, like my skin on my pictures or my skin personally, but my skin over there, I got a little bit of, here. I don't know. I have, you know what? Artists with cameras, I've been moisturizing, so I'm glad you noticed. No, I do get these like what do you call it? Some people thought it was one thing, rosacea. It's not that. I had someone like scare me. It's not. I just get from talking about skin on my chest. I'll go quickly about it, but I do sometimes get like redness here on some of my episodes. You'll see it because when I go from like travel a lot and in airplanes and back and forth, like I'm not built for this humid weather, so the humidity brings out bad things in my skin a lot, and now it's better because I moisturize more and I hydrate more and I exercise more. So I think that helps. Show us your Wotancraft. What do you want to see? I got all sorts of Wotancraft. I got well, I can't really because they're with all my other stuff. I can show you a backpack here that I have. This is a backpack that doesn't really get a lot of attention for them, but it's very similar to the Billingham backpack I showed you, but it's like not as like for a luxury shoot, it's not as sexy, but it's got this cool like thing here for you can take this off and put patches on it. It's got all these like, you can take these little modular pouches and adjust them how you want. But the thing I like about this and don't like about it at the same time is this opens up. This is their Easy Pack 15 liters. So this is a bag that, like you could actually work out of, but so you spin around your back and then it has these like, the way it opens here is kind of cool. So I should do it this way. So you could like wear it like on your back, flip it around front and get your lenses out and then get them out down here without worrying about them like spilling over, if that makes sense. I wish it was magnet and not Velcro because I don't want to have to remove Velcro when I'm doing this stuff. So you wouldn't really have to worry, right? You could just get this, and I know some people still worry, but you wouldn't. And it's strong enough Velcro. I wish the back was Velcro. I mean it is, but I wish the top was just magnet. I think that would be better. And this does have like a laptop sleeve in the back, a nice handle, nice padding on the shoulders. It's a cool bag. You can sort of customize the little strap handles if you want to. Nice thing, nice handle on top, customizable there. I like that. However, this isn't I like to work sometimes where I just toss my bag on the ground and I work out of it. And this is just like one extra step that I don't like having to open it. Whereas the Billingham opens, and it's, if I put this on the ground, I can't spin this around and work out of it easy. No. However, if I just toss this on the ground, the inserts are much nicer. So I don't have it kitted out right now nicely, but you could just sort of toss this on the ground and work out of it that way. And the canvas and padding just feels a lot more protective on this one. They both have their use cases. Like if I wanted something a little bit more lightweight and I want to work out of the backpack, like I'm going to be changing lenses constantly from without putting the bag on the ground. This is great for that. So anyway, this comes in black and it comes in this sort of khaki color. I have both. I just like them both. Yeah, I have way too many bags, but I do get a lot of bags for free as well. I've started a relationship with Billingham too, so I have that bag right. I can't see my screen, but like right behind me there. See if I can. I'm terrible at this. There. That's another little bag by them. That's just like a one camera bag. I use for my little Rico. Anyway, maybe I'll just do a full live stream about bags. Okay. Oh, good question. So, Stephen, do conflict photographers still use rangefinder versus autofocus? Yeah, probably a couple, but not many. I don't think a lot do. I'm not so dialed into that world as much, but but yeah. So yeah. Oh God. Okay, interesting, Ray, and interesting, Stephen. So, yeah, so Stephen, yeah, I think some still do, just not a lot. Some can still use film, but not a lot. I think just autofocus is just so fast and good nowadays. People just want to use that. But again, there's exceptions, and I can work with I can work with manual focus pretty quickly. But who knows if that's going to keep as my eyesight gets worse from editing more videos. Just found your TEDx experience. How was that? It was good. I wish I was like, I don't know. I thought like I could. I've improved a lot on that kind of stuff. I think I'm. My TED talk with TEDx talk in Vietnam. It was fun. It was a great experience. I'm glad I did it. I would do it again. I've given a lot of talks about my photography. I try to improve each time. Biggest feedback for me is I talk too fast. And biggest feedback, I sometimes I'm not good at memorizing. I like to just talk, and so I try to find myself I ask myself questions with visual cues or on my thing on my display on my PowerPoint presentation. And some people can just like have their concise thought. I have a little bit of ADHD, so I'll lose topic. I'll forget what I was talking about. So I need to really like focus. And I think it was okay. I think I could have done better. But thank you, Rick, for checking out. How much is that bag? Good question. The Billingham bag was like it's like $500. It's expensive. I think you can probably get it. Mine's like barely used at all for it was maybe like 400 and something dollars, maybe low 400. The Womcraft bag is going to be significantly cheaper. I think in like the $200 range. Anyone should Womcraft, go to my website askmott.com. I do have an affiliate link there, so that helps. But don't buy a bag if you don't need one. I'm not a bag pusher. I'm not a gear pusher. But if you are interested, cool. Let's see. Any questions before I take off here, guys? You can fire away now. I can stay for a little bit longer if you have any. If not, I will leave you alone and let you guys get on with your day. Wish me luck with my Pilates later today. First Pilates class ever. I will not be showing footage of that because no matter what, I will look uncoordinated, not strong, and fat. So no one needs to see that. Maybe down the line, if it works for me, and I get abs, I can start my channel. Yeah, well, thank you guys. I appreciate it. It was fun. Really, as time went on through this, it was nice to get your questions. Nice to hear from you guys. Let's just like kind of like have more of a dialogue with people that comment more and watch my channel a lot. So I appreciate it. Good luck. Thanks, Ray. Thank you guys for your questions. Ask away. If I missed any of your questions, ask here. I'll come by and try again. For all of you that donated today, that was really, really kind of you. Man, wake up and make a little bit of money. I can deal with that. Just answer photography questions. I truly would love to hear feedback on types of episodes you want to see, things you want to hear, feedback about my episodes, make them longer. Probably not going to say that. Make them shorter. Sure. Tell me, slow down talking. Fine. I think I've done a better job with that, but you guys let me know in the comment section. Add me on Instagram if you haven't already at askmott.com. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please go ahead. If you're interested in my online classes, you guys, go to askmott.com and book a class with me, book a session. Oh, last question here. Do a Vietnamese model? Okay, yes. Can interpret that different ways. My wife's in the other room. She's not going to appreciate that comment. I'm teasing. All right. Yeah, I will. I will take a model out and do a portrait shoot in kind of my way. I don't do like fashion-y type of portrait shoots, but I'll do a fun one. I'll take you behind the scenes and kind of talk you through it. I really want to do more in the field stuff. So I will. That's a promise to you guys, and I'll make it live right here. Bye, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to have a wonderful day.